Hi everyone, back at our YouTube channel. It's Chris back with a match preview for Newcastle United's upcoming game this weekend in the FA Cup, Saturday night down at Craven Cottage against Fulham. Mental game, really, mental kick-off time. I feel really sorry for the travelling fans that are having to go down there and try and get back. We'll get into that a little bit more in a minute. We're going to have a look at how we think the lads are going to line up, which isn't too difficult these days, given the amount of players that we have to actually kick a football and stay fit. So you can pretty much guess every single team that we picked, to be honest with you. But we're going to talk a little bit about the game, tell you how we think it's going to go. Just before we do, a little reminder, as we always say, smash subscribe, come and join the channel if you can. We're over 6,400 subs now, creeping up to 6,500. So thank you so much to everyone who smashed the button at the start of the year. It's been a crazy time to be a Newcastle fan the last few weeks, that's for damn sure, but we appreciate you all joining us. Like the video too, and if you want to become a member, there is an option down there too. Give a little bit about the channel, help us keep bringing this great content. So in the midst of all the craziness of the transfer window and selling these players and that player and every single other player, seems to be bids for players coming every bloody day. We have got a football game to play. We've actually got two football games coming up very close together. The first one is this weekend, as I said, against Fulham down at Craven Cottage. Now, we beat these guys 3-0 at St James's Park. Louis Miley getting his first goal, which was fantastic. Not too long ago, actually, just before Christmas. And at that particular point, you didn't think that the wheels are going to come off Newcastle United. You know, you thought we were in a good place. We'd maybe start going on a bit of a run. And then we then subsequently go and play shit against Forest, shit against Luton, shit against Bournemouth. And then we end up sliding down the table. You know, there's players being linked to leaving the club this window, and it's all just got a bit messy, really. But this is how I think the lads are going to line up on Saturday night. Now, as I say, this is pretty much the only team Eddie can really put out. Now, the interesting bit about this team, which we haven't got on the screen here, will be the bench of the weekend. We've heard talk about maybe Jacob Murphy possibly coming back. Harvey Barnes has been pictured with his boots on. Willock's been pictured with his boots on. There may be a little surprise appearance on the bench from one of these guys. You just don't know. But we think that he's going to go full strength because the FA Cup represents a competition that we can win. The FA Cup also represents a chance to get into Europe if we don't do it through the league. So we think that Eddie's going to go full strength. And this is the full strength side, really, that we think that Eddie will go with. In terms of, obviously, the players missing through injury, Callum Wilson is obviously still away in terms of, his recovery. He obviously went away for a bit of a warm weather break, and apparently his agent just took that chance to ring every fucking club in Europe and say, hey, do you fancy signing Callum? That seems to be the case. So we're not sure if Callum Wilson's even going to be a Newcastle player by the time this game kicks off. He certainly won't be on the bench, I don't think. I don't think he's fit enough to come back. Tino was obviously missing through injury against Manchester City. I think Tino will come back in at left back. I'd be quite surprised if he doesn't. Could see Burnham there. Who knows? The midfield three kind of picks itself. I think Louis Miley, Bruno and Longstaff, obviously without Joe Linton, and without, any real kind of covering there, to be honest with you. No Sandro Tonali, suspended for the whole season. Elliot Anderson snapped back. Nobody who can really play in midfield, to be fair. No signings either. No Calvin Phillips. No extra midfielders coming in. We need midfielders, but, we're sitting here the 25th as I record this. We've got two games coming up, and I don't think there'll be any signings before that, to be honest with you. We've seen some journalists saying it's going to be crazy in the last week of the window. I'm feeling very deflated about the transfer market, I've got to be honest with you. I'd be shocked if we even see any more bodies coming in, and I will certainly be having my say about that in one of my rants of the day, if that is the case. But, on paper, with this team, we should really beat Fulham on paper. But football isn't played on paper. But if we turn up and play like we did against Manchester City, for that first kind of 50 minutes, we should really blow Fulham away, in all fairness. I mean, the Fulham team, just to kind of talk about that, is, should be, is it Rodak, Teti, Diop, Ream, Robinson, who's a canny player, fullback, gets up and down the pitch. Reed's a decent little player, gets on the ball a bit. Paulina's an all right player. Wilson's very dangerous from set pieces. Pereira can cut inside and have a bit of a dig on that foot. Decovita Reed is a good player, and Jimenez can cause you some problems when he's not trying to WWE sweet chin music Sean Longstaff like he did at St James's Park. I'm sure he will be trying to do that again, Raul Jimenez, because that was the mentalist thing I think I've ever seen that player do. But yeah, so how do I think this game is going to go? I mean, I'm a little bit torn at the minute. I just think the club seems to be, I don't want to use the word mess. I just think that the club seems to be in a little bit of a state of flux at present in terms of the personnel and everything else. But the lads have had time off. The lads have been able to rest from the Manchester City game, and they played really well in the Manchester City game. I don't want to be too negative in this. I mean, my heart says that Newcastle will win this game 2-0. And my head says I could easily see a draw and a replay at St James's Park. That's kind of where I'm sitting on this situation. I'm more interested, I think, as to who's coming back on the bench. If you see Harvey Barnes and Joe Willock there, that's a great step in the right direction in terms of those players being able to come back and impact the squad, before the end of the season. If we don't send anybody in this transfer window, but Barnes and Willock can come back and stay fit, and we keep Callum Wilson and not sell him, then I think the squad is in a better place. If Willock and Barnes aren't coming back, and Murphy as well aren't coming back for the next 2 or 3 weeks, and we sell Wilson and we maybe sell Miggy, then I think we're in a bad position. I think if we end the window with that, we're in a bad position. Signing a kid from Manchester City who's not going to feature in the first team probably for 2 or 3 seasons is not enough in the window, for my opinion. The club really need to step it up. There's only a few days left. I don't know what's going to happen. All the links have gone very quiet in terms of Newcastle. Maybe that's what they want. Maybe they want everybody to look away and think they're not doing any business, and then bang, they'll sign 2 or 3 players. I really hope that is the case. But going into this game, this is a huge game for Newcastle United. Win this game, we've got a chance to get into the next round of the FA Cup. If we get a couple of decent draws in terms of the next round and the round after that, I could find myself in the final. Some of the bigger teams are playing each other, they might knock each other out, make the competition a little bit, more favourable for Newcastle United to win. But it will be a tough game. Fulham are no mugs. I like Marco Silva. He sets his team up really well. We beat them comfortably at St James's Park as we were at it. We were bang on. The confidence was high. And if they take that performance from Manchester City and the confidence from that, and the way that they just narrowly lost that game into this game, they should have enough to beat Fulham. But who knows? All bets are off for Newcastle these days. We don't know what the fuck is going on, really. So fingers crossed the lads do the business and get the job done. I'll be back on Saturday night with a post-match review. Come and join us in the lives, and hopefully we'll all be celebrating the Newcastle United win. But let us know in the comments below what you guys think about that lineup. If you think we've got a good chance to win the game, or you feel a little bit low, a little bit deflated about the squad and everything that's going on behind the scenes. We always like to hear from you. Smash a comment in. We always like to have a good crack about football. Don't want any little scabby trolls in there just talking shit and trying to stir bother. You'll be out if you are. Anyone else, more than welcome, come in. Agree or disagree with us, that's cool. We'll all have a good chat about it, and or leave being friends at the end of the day. And if you can, subscribe, smash a like, help the channel grow. Be a member if you fancy it. Click whichever one suits you best. However, the lads for Saturday, we need a win. Get a feel-good factor back going again at the club. Have a good one, everyone. We'll see you later. Cheers. Bye.